Hey, family. It's Kim Love Jones here. I just want to say to you, if you're watching this on the replay, hit hashtag replay. I just want to talk about communication, healthy communication, and relationships. I know that there's a lot of people that struggle in this area. I've literally witnessed it in my own life. What I want to do real quick is I want to just share this in my group and love and relationships. That's what I want to do. Hold on, hold on. Yes, 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 yes. Hold on, hold on. Hold on, group. Yes, yes. Um, yes, I'm posting it in my group. I got it coming through my Bluetooth, y'all. I got it coming through my Bluetooth. I needed to shut that down and let me put my phone on do not disturb. I don't know why I don't think about this before I get on and start going live. Yeah, but I just want to talk about healthy communication in relationships because I know that a lot of times it's because we weren't heard when we were kids. We don't know how to have hard conversations. I know that sometimes it's the things that we learned as kids that have us the way that we are, right? And the communication is not just words. It's how you speak, it's when you speak, it's why you speak, and more importantly, it's also how you listen. I want to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, but I just think that it is so important to be a good listener, to hear what people are saying and to hear what people are not saying, because a lot of people, they're not honest about who they are and where they are and what's really going on in their lives, right? So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I know that some of us are raised in homes where we had to shrink, where silence was survival. So when it's time to speak in love, we don't know how. We either shut down or we blow up, and neither brings us peace. And to be honest, the dynamics of my own personal life is I'm the baby in the family. And so I've always been loud because I always felt like I needed to be heard. Um, I don't feel like that anymore. But there was a time when I did feel like that. There was a time where I would blow up or shut completely down. And I realized that I don't find peace in that because I don't want to blow up. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to, be frustrated about people not hearing me, right? People not listening to me. So when it comes down to romantic relationships, there are some things that we have to do differently. We have to lean in. We have to face the truth. We have to have sometimes hard conversations. And that's just how it is. It's not even if it's not about what's the word I'm looking for? It's not really about hold on, y'all. I'm just trying to fix my laptop. It's driving me crazy. I don't know. I'm clicking on this thing, but I don't know what I did. I did something. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing over here. But when the communication breaks down in your relationship, it literally it hurts everybody. I always say this, your silence is violence. We have to get to the point where we are able to communicate and learn healthy communication skills in order to have a successful relationship. But when you've been hurt by someone, when you don't trust the relationship, you tend to pull back and draw away from people because you want to have a great relationship with them, but at the same time, you're afraid to say what it is that you truly genuinely feel. So what happens when the communication breaks down? People begin to make assumptions, and assumptions are relationship killers. People start to fill in the blanks, based on their fear of what they think is happening. And people begin to shrink because they want to make sure. I see y'all watching. Say hello, say hello, say hello. You start to fill in the blanks. I don't know about you, But I know that when I don't know what's going on with the person, I'll start, making assumptions about who I think they are, right? And I don't do it intentionally because that's not what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? It's but I'll start to fill in the blanks in my own head, and then the committee will begin to have a meeting in my head. When I don't know what's going on, and this is why, if you're going to be in a healthy relationship, you need to have a partner that knows how to communicate with you well. That's not just authentic in who they are, but also transparent. In other words, they would say, I'm going to the store on my way home. They're telling you stuff you ain't even asked them. I'm going to the store on my way home because I want to go pick up this, this, and this. I'll call you back. Do you need anything? Right? No, I'm good. I'm good. Right. But when a person begins to tell you information that you did not ask for, it eases your mind. It eases the other person's mind, right? It's not insecurity. It is just you taking it upon yourself to inform them about what's going on in your life. That's healthy communication. That is definitely healthy communication. If you have to battle, to get information from your partner, that's a problem. Because again, you start what we usually do, and I'm just being honest, is we start filling in the blanks. We start trying to figure it out for ourselves. We start getting in our own heads. We start wondering about what they're doing and what they're not doing. I see you watching. Say hello, right? You start getting in your own head about what's really going on because you don't feel safe and you don't feel secure, right? So when you do that, you begin to think that you're too much or you're not enough, and now you spiraling out of control because nobody communicated to you what was going on. And I don't know how many of you can really truly relate to what I am saying, but I know that it causes problems in relationships when we do not communicate well. And I don't know why people withhold parts of themselves from their alleged partner, for their potential partner, from their husband, from their wives, right? I don't know why people do that and expect that their relationships are going to be great. But the idea is to heal yourself better, gain some clarity about what you want and what you need in your relationship, and then become that person so that you can become healthy and have a healthy relationship, right? When you communicate with power, everything begins to shift and to change for you, right? And here's the truth. Real love requires real conversations. And that means you're going to speak your truth, not your trauma. Don't let the wounds do the talking. Say what you feel with love and not fear. Use statements like, I, instead of you, never made me feel whatever, fill in the blanks, right? You can say something like, I miss quality time together. You could say, listen, I need this, 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 and this, without being accusatory towards the person. When we begin to listen to understand one another and not defend, things become a little different for us. I know that's hard to do, but the other part is sometimes your partner is not attacking you. They just don't have the language to say what it is that they need to say. Right? So if you're going to have healthy communication in your relationships, then you have got to understand that you cannot communicate out of fear, but you have to communicate out of love because you want the relationship to work. One day I was talking to somebody that's in my family, kind of like it's my niece's mom, but they're not blood related to me. And I said, they were talking about my niece. And I said, well, how does it make you feel when somebody says this, and this to you? Does it make you feel attacked? I said, so that's probably why she feels the way that she feels. So there's a way to do business where you can reach even your children, right? But if you're talking about romantic relationships, you have to ask yourself, how would I feel if I was being attacked? How would I feel, right? And the other thing is, don't communicate when you're angry. Building healthy relationships requires that you communicate healthy. Even when things are calm, that's the best time to have the relationship. I mean, to have the conversations is when you're not angry, when you sat back and you thought about all the things that you wanted to say. And you honestly and earnestly can say, I feel this way. I'm not attacking you, but I feel this way. And I need to work on myself, right? I have to become a better version of myself, but this bothers me a great deal. What you end up doing is you take away the sting of your partner feeling like they are attacked. Because your partner doesn't want to feel attacked. Nobody does, right? If you're ready to stop talking at people and start talking with them, if you're tired of having broken conversations and missed connections, I want to invite you to my Unlocking Your Love experience, where we're going to be going deep into healing, changing your voice, your heart, and how to show up in relationships. Because can I be honest with you? That is what matters. How we show up, how we want to be seen. When we begin to heal, we're going to the next level. When you make a conscious choice that I want to be a better version of myself, I'm not better than anyone. I just want to be a better version of myself, right? I'm not going to keep tolerating shenanigans, and I keep putting myself in compromising positions. I keep doing things that do not honor me. I mean, that just boggles my mind how I did that for so long. And now that I'm doing the work to actively heal in my life, things are beginning to change. So I'm excited about this Unlocking Your Love experience, because what it's saying to me, to all the people who bought tickets, I have to get your tickets. We are less than a week away. I mean, like a week and a half away now. Today is what? Today is Tuesday. So I got like a week and a half now to go, right? And can I tell you how it's a game changer in your life when you work on your healing? How everything begins to shift for you consciously? Like everything begins to change. It's like a window opens up, like, and a light is beaming down on you because you begin to work on yourself. And each little step that you take, you are being transformed by the renewing of your mind. That is what is happening. Because you deserve to be loved. You deserve to be honored and respected out loud. So we're going to be working on things that would speak to us loving ourselves, right? And growing. Because this is what's going on. This is what's up. I'm excited about it because I know that I want something different in my life. And I've known that this is what I wanted. You know what I mean? I've known that I wanted to be a better version of myself, right? And I kept thinking to myself, is this all that it is? It got to be more than this. It has to be more than this. So if you haven't purchased your ticket, I'm telling you, purchase your ticket. It's a week and a half to go. I got to actually get a woman a head count. By this Friday, I think. I have to give her the head count, the final head count. So if you haven't bought your ticket to the Unlocking Your Love experience, buy it. It's the link is on my page. And in fact, I'm going to repost it again for everybody who wants to see it. Because I'm telling you, I am absolutely excited about this new healing journey that we are about to go on at this Unlocking Your Love experience. It is going to be amazing. And Monique Denson is going to MC it for me. And everybody who knows her knows she is a powerhouse. And I'm just excited across the board, right? And can I tell y'all why I think that communication is the foundation of love? Communication fosters love. It fosters connection, right? When you allow, when you are intimate, intimacy, when you are intimate with another person and you're having conversation with them, it fosters great connections. It actually fosters love, right? Because when a person gets to know you and they know who you are, the real you, not the you that the world knows, but the real you, the you that sometimes goes through some things and some challenges and they love you still, right? It creates something in you. It helps you, to be a better version of yourself, right? So it's important to understand that your communication is helping your relationship to grow. It's not just about speaking, though, it's also about being understood. Real love cannot grow if there is no real communication and no real conversations, right? I've seen good love die because people have stopped communicating and they refuse to express their truth. In fact, I've had that go on in my own life. I could talk about it, right? Because when people stop talking to me, I'm like, your silence is violence. You got to tell me how you feel. And in fact, can I tell y'all something? I'm going to be real honest. Like, I'm not having relationships that are not all in. I don't want half friendships. I don't want people in my life who are not loving me out loud and that are afraid to speak truth to power. I don't want somebody that always agrees with me because there is no growth all the time. I want somebody that loves me enough to speak truth to me and to really earnestly be my friend. And I also need that type of communication from them and to understand my heart, and that my heart is to see them win. And so if we are both in alignment and we're both sharing and we're both sharing intimate conversations and close talk with one another, it should bring about an even closer relationship. If it is not, I don't want any parts of it. I don't want any parts of it. I'm not dealing with disingenuous people, and I'm not doing disingenuous things. I am showing up for the people who are in my circumference, real, and I'm loving them in the ways in which I want to be loved. I don't know what everybody else needs. I know what I need, and I need to love them how they need to be loved. But what I refuse to do is stay in a relationship with people who are not true to who they really say that they are, right? And so I've had a lot of that going on, a lot, more than I care to think about. But here's the thing. If I honor me and I show up in the way in which I need to show up in every relationship, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just going to show up and be who God told me to be. I'm not trying to be who everybody else needs in that capacity. I have to honor me first. And I want real relationship with my girlfriends, with my guy friends, with my potential partner, with whomever. I want real. I need you to love me out loud. And loving me out loud sometimes is even correcting me or helping me to see myself. Because otherwise there is no growth. There is no growth if I'm not around people that are helping me to grow. Here's some signs of poor communication: the silent treatment, yelling, or avoiding conversations. Saying things like, I'm fine, when you're not. Being passive aggressive, sarcastic, talking over each other, or only listening to respond and not understand. At some point, the conflict becomes a power struggle instead of a bridge to build things. Now, I would ask all of you watching, right? I would ask you this. If you're going to be honest, like be honest with yourself, right? Because there's no judgment here, right? I would ask you to, which one of those things comes up for you the most? Are you listening to understand? Are you talking over each other? Do you exhibit passive aggressive behavior? Are you ever sarcastic? Is it all about winning instead of working through it? No judgment, just ask the question. I'm asking you to ask the question to yourself. You don't have to answer here and on the, but ask the question to yourself because that's important, right? Because most of us were taught, I'm sorry, most of us weren't taught healthy communication. And we don't realize that who we were as children and what we were told, go shut up and sit down, stay out of grown folks' business, all of this stuff. Like all of those things have helped to shape how we learned how to communicate. And so if you're going to be honest, sometimes to be a better communicator, you got to go back. You got to go back and you got to ask yourself some questions, right? About how you show up. Ask them of yourself, not everybody else. What are you doing? Right? So I know some of us were taught to shrink. Some of us were taught like, don't be honest, because if you're honest, you're going to get in trouble. Don't say what you feel. That's going to cause a conflict. But what causes an even bigger conflict in adult relationships is when you don't tell your truth. And I'm talking about telling your truth from the gate and not from a place of fear, but from a place of love. It's because I love you. It's because I want to build with you that I'm going to speak this truth, because this is the only way that we're going to be able to work through that. So when you heal, you become a better communicator. When you have clarity about who you are, you learn how to communicate better. I see y'all watching. I don't see no hellos. But I see y'all watching. I see y'all. Okay, so I'm just going to give y'all a quick point real quick, because I think that this is like so dope and so amazing. But when I realized that me not saying something, and this happened in my relationship from the door, right? When I met my husband, my now ex-husband. When I met my husband, I was afraid to say anything, especially once he asked me to marry him, right? I was afraid. I was really, really, truly afraid. Y'all say hello, say hello. I see y'all watching. Y'all not saying that. Y'all not nice. Oh, I see the comments now. I didn't see the comments before. I'm sorry. Hi, Kim Shay. Hi, Patricia. Hi. Oh, Kimberly Paper. You said I'm passive aggressive because I'm angry with him. Yeah, and that's something that you really got to work on. Like, why? Can I be honest? Why? Why are you angry, sis? And you don't even have to ask that here. You don't have to ask it here. You don't have to answer it here. But why are you angry? Ask yourself why. What's at the root of it? Not what happened last week. What happened? Not even what happened last year. Why are you holding on to the anger? Because that's something that we have to ask ourselves. Why are you holding their feet to the fire? Why is there no forgiveness? Why is that difficult for you? And I remember me being like really afraid to speak my truth in my marriage. I was very afraid to speak my truth. And I don't know why. I guess it was a part of me that felt like if I said anything, if I made too much noise, if I spoke the way I really felt, that it would cause a rift. And I learned the hard way that it was going to cause a rift anyway, because I wasn't being honest. I wasn't being genuine in how I was really feeling about a lot of things. And so I wasn't saying much. And then when I would explode, because again, Kimberly didn't say hello. No, 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 no. I'm with you, my love. It's okay. I don't, I see you. I didn't see the comments at first. So I didn't even know, that you were commenting, because I have my phone up and I could see people watching, but I didn't see the comments. So I didn't see the comments until just now. But yeah, but why? Why are you not forgiving? Why are you holding on to it? And I'm not saying for you to answer that in the live. I'm asking you to ask yourself that, because the reality of the situation is that there's a reason why you're holding his feet to the fire. There's a reason why you're going through what you're going through. There's a reason why the anger is still there and is festering. And the truth is, we allow things to get to us and to keep us in bondage. And the other question I would ask you is, what's the end game? What do you want to see happen? And the reason why I'm asking you, what do you want to see happen in the future of your relationship, is simply to say this: work on what you want your relationship to look like, as opposed to holding his feet to the fire for whatever it is, right? I don't know that. But as opposed to being angry and frustrated and whatever, what do you want the relationship to look like? And then work on it from there. I promise I was live in them TikTok streets yesterday, and I said something very similar, because sometimes what we do, we don't know how to forgive. And we don't understand that if we don't forgive, anger and frustration takes root in us. And it then becomes like part of our personality and how we show up. And I don't want to be that person. And I know that there's a lot of people that don't want to be that way. Right. And for some reason, you don't know how to give it up. You got to dig that anger up from the root. It's like a daggone dandelion. You got to take a steak knife. Somebody taught me this 100 years ago. Take a steak, if you don't have the stuff, and dig that thing out from the root. You got to put the steak knife in it and pull the whole root out. And it's a long root. And that thing destroys your grass. It destroys the whole thing. Right? So that's the reason why we got to do the work. Because if we're going to get to happy and healthy, if we're going to get to where it is that we truly, right? We got to be honest about how we're showing up and get to the root of that thing. Why are you mad? Stop being mad. Stop being angry. And I know I'm saying it like it's so easy, but that's what the work is. The work in your forgiveness. That's where you're going to get healed at. That's where you're going to get healed at every bit of it. Like, it begins there with forgiveness, and then forgiving yourself. I don't want to be angry, but I can tell y'all this. When I was going through what I was going through with my ex-husband, it wasn't all his fault. It's because I didn't have the tools to deal with the things that I was dealing with. And now that I have the tools, I'm a better person. And now that I'm diligent about what I'm doing, I'm a better person. Now that I know what I want for my life and I have clarity, I deal with things differently. But it's hard. It's hard. Because a lot of times, we want people to conform to what we want. And the reality is, we need to be about accepting and loving ourselves and growing, and stop looking at the other person, because the other person, that's not the ticket. The ticket is, how do we want to show up in the world? When I think about the word of God, I look at it like from Genesis to Revelation. I could put my name in any one of those characters. What was the lesson from Adam, for Adam and Eve? Like, no, I'm not trying to be. He could say, Kim, I would be blaming people when I know that God gave me the mandate. I'm not trying to be funny. Like, I'm Adam. I'm Adam. I act like I didn't know. So I took a bite of the fruit like I didn't know, because I wanted to taste it. So I act like I didn't know, but there were consequences and repercussions for me not honoring what God had said to me. You understand what I'm saying? Hey Joe, how are you? How you doing, sweetie? It's good to see you on here. It's very good to see you here, right? And then we can move on. Like Noah. Noah didn't have his whole life. Let's do Cain and Abel, right? We could talk about like every character in the Bible. I know maybe not everyone, but most of them we should be able to identify and say, wow, that's me. I've often had that attitude, right? How about the people that hate on other people? That's Cain and Abel. That's Cain and Abel. Like, who at some point, I don't know if people have jealous spirits. Like, I'm more of a giver, so I never get jealous of people. I don't really have a jealous heart. If somebody's doing something, it's I don't really have envy. That's not one of my things. I don't envy other people because I understand, glad to catch you live as you say we need to follow the words in the Bible. Yes, 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 we do. We do, Joe. Yes, we do, baby. Yes, we do. I'm so happy to see you here, man. I really am. I'm coming to Michigan. Did I tell you that? I don't know if I told you I was coming to Michigan. My granddaughter is graduating high school. Oh my God. She's graduating high school. So I'm coming to Michigan and then going to Iowa. It's going to be amazing. I hope to get to see you, Joe. I promise you. I hope I see you. I'm going to let you know, though. I'm going to inbox you and let you know. Yeah. So with that being said, right? Like, if you take yourself and put yourself in any one of the situations from Genesis to Revelation, right? You have to understand something. You could be any one of those people. And the idea with this whole forgiveness piece is that you operate in such a way that you are always wanting to transform. You're always wanting to become a better version. You're always willing to forgive. You may not forget the lesson and what it taught you, but you're willing to forgive even those who are struggling with learning how to love you, right? So it's important, right, that we work on ourselves, that we become better. It's important because if I'm going to be a reflection of anything, I want to be a reflection of showing up better, right? I don't want to continue to be, broke up, and aggravated and angry and frustrated. That's too much. That's too much. I don't have the energy. I promise you, I don't have the energy for it. Right? To argue, fight, be angry, be mad, be walking around here disgruntled. I do not have the energy for it. I don't. I really, really don't. And so the idea is transformation. The idea is morphing into a new version of yourself, right? That's what the idea is. So yeah, and learning how to communicate better will help you. So you're not dealing with things from a perspective of fear or lack, but you're dealing with things from a perspective of love and abundance. Right? So, yeah, this is really, really important because we want to get better. We absolutely want to get better. All of us. I hope. At least I hope. I know there's a few people like, well, I don't have no issues. And I'm like, I heard that. Okay, because we all got them. We all got them. Listen, y'all, I just wanted to jump on for a little while. I can't stay on. I have to run out in a little while. But I hope you all can come to my workshop. It is going to be absolutely amazing. It's all about our healing, all about celebrating who we are, all about resilience and showing up in the ways in which we ought to show up for one another and for ourselves. And I'm telling you, it's going to be absolutely amazing. I hope y'all have an awesome and amazing day. And I love y'all like cook food. I promise y'all I do. Yes, we should definitely want to get better in life. We should all strive to be better Christians. Absolutely. Absolutely, Joe. Thank you all for watching. I love y'all like I love me some fried chicken, and God knows I love some fried chicken. Y'all be